Hi everybody, my name is Priscilla Hole and this is the Leo new moon for 2017. I can't tell you how huge this is. Certainly for myself, today is my birthday and I was reading recently that this is a 0 degrees new moon because there's going to be two new moons this month for Leo. This one today or tonight particularly, sorry, bugs behind me, and also too there's going to be another new moon at the end of the month, which is also going to be a it's going to be a solar eclipse on the day, so it's going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of energy flying around, so this month, this astrological month of Leo is pretty big. And so for me, of course, as I said, this is a very powerful personal experience because I have 0 degrees Leo, and this new moon is particularly powerful being at 0 degrees for me. So anyone else who has if you look at your natal chart, have a look at where you are in Leo, and if you're somewhere near at the tail end of Cancer, at the very beginning of Leo, this is a potent time for you. So I'm also going to say, please be aware that there's crows in the garden around behind me. So if they get particularly loud, then I don't know that I can edit them out, but just wanted you to know that it's an amazing, beautiful winter day here in Brisbane, and it's incredibly gorgeous outside. We are very blessed in this part of the world when it comes to our winter weather. Very, very blessed. So just kicking off as well, the new moon is also about creating or setting new intentions. And so if we set an intention for this particular time of Leo new moon, in 6 months' time, we'll start to see the culmination of what the intentions that we are setting now. Of course, there's always going to be something we'd like to have earlier, and maybe if we're really clear with our energy, it might present itself a little earlier, but definitely you'll start to see the results of any intentions you set now in 6 months' time. And being in Leo, it's all about identity, solar plexus. Who am I? What's going on for the me? And where would I like to go? And I saw a lovely post from another astrologer just this morning saying something about the new moon this is a really brilliant time to stretch, not beyond your limits, but beyond your fear. Push past your limits, push past into the limits of your fear, that is, not the limits of what you know you can achieve on a logic level, on a basic level, but if you push past your fear, you'll be amazed at how far you can stretch those limits. And I think that's a really beautiful message for everybody to be sitting with around this time, and what you can probably move on with moving into the future and moving forward with. So I'm going to draw a card, and this card is from the Osho Zen Tarot deck, which I love, as most of you are very aware. I don't think I own another tarot deck anymore. Can't even look at them. Oh, this is a good one. This is called Moment to Moment. So what they're really saying to us here, what this particular card is really pushing home for here at the moment, is to remember that yes, we have all our plans, we set our goals in place, we put together our project plans and whatever else it is we would like to do between now and when the fruition of our intentions comes into play. But we must never forget that the reality is we're living in the here and in the now. And so that really pushes home the message of moment to moment. Because if you're too far off in the future, then and worrying about what's going on over there in 6 months' time, 3 months' time, you're actually not being present to what's happening for you here and now. And a lot of amazing things could be presenting themselves to you, and you actually can't see them because you are so busy worrying about what's going on out there, or so busy planning about what's going on in 2 months' time, 3 months' time, even 4 days' time, that you're missing what's happening in front of you right here and right now. And we all need to remember that we are living in a world where we create our own reality. So if we're creating our reality beyond our immediacy, then we're not being very present to ourselves. And it's really important that we look to stay present to ourselves in that moment-to-moment situation, and not forget that, yes, okay, we have our plans, but what are we doing right in this given moment? How present are we to experiencing our lives on a minute-by-minute basis? Something to remember as well is to not get caught up in the minutiae, as they say, or the minutiae, as others people say, using that word. It's to remember that, yeah, you can't get bogged down in the little itty-gritty bits, otherwise you'll never move forward, because you'll be so busy worrying about the the little things that you're actually not taking care of, the bigger things that are coming through. So it's a bit of a two-edged sword, like, treading this line, treading this path. It's a challenge. How do we do that? And it is a lesson, I think, in presence. How does our body feel? What are we thinking about? What are we really looking at in front of us? I've had a situation in the last 10 weeks where I've been forced to be very present to what's going on in front of me, simply because I lost my glasses when I was on a bus on Maui back in June. And that was a brilliant, actually, no, it's late May, a brilliant reminder to not be worrying about what's going on out there in the distance and in the future, but be really present to what's happening to me here and now in the moment. And of course I had to figure out how to get myself down off the side of the mountain on the bus route, because I lost my bus pass at the same time. So it was a really brilliant wake-up call to be present and to not be worrying about what's going on beyond my time frame and beyond my where I was at in that given moment. So this is what we're being reminded of, moment to moment, staying present, staying clear, feeling into our body, looking at what our thoughts are at, are we thinking negative thoughts or are we thinking positive thoughts? Are we being responsive to the people around us and the situations around us, or are we being reactive to the situations and people around us? And coming home and being present to ourselves is tantamount to living a truly amazing life. And that's something that we're all really challenged to do, I think, in many levels, especially with the massive distractions with TV, computers, interactive tools that we have when it comes to games and technology, how we often distract ourselves with the phone and trawling Facebook and Twitter and all those other amazing technologies that we have the instant gratification of. But what are we doing? How does our body feel? Are we tight in the shoulders? Have we got sore legs? Have we got headaches? Are we really resting? Are we sleeping well? All those sort of little things that are really important to living a life well lived and being present to our moment to moment. Setting our plans in place and knowing that when they present themselves, you'll work on them at that given time, rather than trying to, be always focused on them out there and not what's going on in front of you. And also too, do you enjoy your cooking? How do you enjoy your eating? It's a really important time. So I think that's it for the moment. That's quite a bit of information for people to digest. So I'm going to pop the question open. We do have one participant here today, Tara, who's on all the way from the US on the East Coast, if I remember correctly. And Tara, I'm just going to unmute you. And if you would like to ask any questions, you are very welcome to ask a question.
Midwest.
Oops,
I'm in the Midwest.
Is that corrected then?
I'm coast time, but the Midwest. I wish I was.
Yeah. For some reason,
to be coast, but no, stuck in the middle. Corn country it is.
Oh, excellent. Cool. Do you have any questions?
I'm fascinated about Leo being the identity moon. I think that's something really important to sit with.
Yeah.
Like you said, particularly the new moon being an intention setting time, and who do I see myself being in 6 months' time? I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And I think it's a really good time to do a beautiful meditation, to drop in and see what presents itself, which would be really quite powerful, quite exciting as well too, when you start to really sit with the presence of that and let it come through. So
absolutely.
Cool. Absolutely.
No, I for me, that moment to moment when you sit in the present and you come back to the present, particularly through the breath, you remember that the moment is all that we have, so that's what's real.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're feeling anxiety, we know that we're living mentally in the future, even though our bodies are right here in this moment. Yeah. And when we're feeling depressed, it's the opposite. We're living mentally in the past.
Yeah.
And so that's just I don't know. I think it kind of goes hand in hand with that solar plexus, right?
It does. Yeah. Where am I right now? Who am I right
Mm.
now? Where am I right now? Am I worried about being somewhere else and not being here in my body? Or yeah, it's incredibly timely, isn't it? This reminder, we come back into the self
Mm.
and being present to ourselves on a moment by moment basis. It is.
And is that, what's the number on that card? Is that a 2 or a 3 on there?
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
So that's the 2 in the tarot. So I really go with the visuals and the words. The reality of me in tarot reading is I don't necessarily look at the numerology of it or the numbers and where they sit. This is the rainbow suit, and I've not really ever looked into the correlation between, you know, the pentacles and swords. I think pentacles, swords. My brain's gone. Cups and wands. That's correct. No, wands is swords, isn't it? Wands and swords.
I don't know. I only took an intro to tarot class this week, so I can only tell you what the over here.
Oh, classic. Okay, well, let's finish up the call and say let's not get too caught up in all of that. We can continue to chat afterwards. But the reality is, yeah, I go with what information comes at me through the image and with the colours, and that's how I do my readings. So bless everybody who's watching this. But I guess they know that by now. But if it's for the first time ever, you're now gathered that I'm not a diehard, tarot traditionalist. I'm very much about the images and the colour and the feel I get from the words and things that I see here. So thank you so much, Tara. Amazing.
Master on the card too is, of course it is, because it's Osho and he is the master.
He is, so, absolutely. Well, he's
master. It's so good. No,
it's about self-mastery.
Your are always spot on.
Thank you.
Spot on.
Thank you so much. And this deck is about self-mastery. That's what I love about this deck. It's not about divination. It's about self-mastery for me. And that's how I like to use it. It's how I like to work with it. And if I'm getting confused about something, I'll draw a card and the card tells me, all right, what am I not being prepared to look at, and then and come back into self and master the things I'm looking to avoid, identify them and then master them. And of course, that's just a daily journey, moment by moment. Okay. Beautiful. Oh, yes, absolutely. So here we are, self-mastery moment by moment. Thank you so much, Tara, for joining us today. And there'll be my pleasure. There'll be another live reading again at the next new moon. So it'll be the second Leo new moon. And that'll be in about 4 weeks' time at the end of the zodiac. I think it's about the 27th of August it's going to land. I'm not sure of the exact date, and I really need to have that stuff organised. See how I just don't go that far. I'm too lazy. Thanks, everybody. And until next time, we will speak with you again soon. And there'll be a full moon reading coming up that'll be posted up in a couple of weeks. See you then. Thanks, everybody.